Hello friends and welcome back to Enterprise Architecture. Now, last episode we had started automating our factory with regard to setting up belts that are running our resources all around the map. So from behind me you can see our miners are bringing in all of these wonderful ores for us to use. Now, before we can start upgrading our factory so that everything stops running on coal, all of these burner drills, burner researchers, etc., and instead runs on electricity, we need to upgrade our electricity setup. That means we need to unlock the red research packs, which we haven't done yet, and start digging in on power generation. Now, this pack has solar panels in it, so you know what that means. We're going to be working on solar today. In addition to coming up with some batteries for longer term storage, because obviously solar only works during the day, and we like to run our factory at night. So let's dive in. We need to start building out our facility for more automation. That means upgrading our various setups. I think we really are going to need to start producing a lot more steel. That's one of our big bottlenecks right now. But we also need to get our red research unlocked. This is our top priority really for today. And towards that end, we also want to get our electric researchers online. We've been using burner researchers for way too long. So that's kind of what we want to aim for. So we do have a bunch of logistics research that we started building from our last episode. So we're going to go ahead and unlock that first so that we can just start using those electric researchers. Everything else is now going to use this red research we don't have quite being made yet. So we need to start producing that. So we're going to work our way to some of those elements. But really to get there, steel is going to be a bottleneck because we use steel in a lot of the production, I believe, for our red research. So we're going to go ahead first and unlock faster steel. That allows us to upgrade our blast furnace. Now, this just makes it into the advanced blast furnace from immersive engineering. And so that means we just need to break down our existing blast furnace and turn the regular blast bricks into reinforced blast bricks. So we're going to tear all of this up first. And then we just combined each of those with steel plates and set it back up pretty much exactly the same way we already had it, with the addition, of course, of a hopper on top. Now that indicates here that we can automate this in ways that the original we couldn't do. So hopefully this will get us faster steel smelting. So let's just grab up all of those blast bricks, and then we're going to need some steel plates. Do I have any steel plates already made? Yeah, I think that's the recipe. Yeah, that's right. It's just steel plates and a blast brick. So it doesn't look like I have any steel plates yet. So what we're going to do is turn our blocks of steel into steel ingots. We're going to need at least 27 of those. And we're going to drop that into our metal press, which we'd set up previously. That's just going to squish these down and turn our ingots into our plates. Now, we could do this with an engineer's hammer as well, but we don't need to do that. We have a machine to do it. So with those plates, I'm starting to think about the other things we want to do and have metal presses for. I know we're going to be using a lot of gears. That's going to be an ingredient that we use to make research is the copper gears, and I think steel gears for the next year as well. So let's go ahead and make ourselves another die. Oh, you know what we also need is the die for wire. It looks like we already have a gear, but we're definitely going to need the wire die because we use that to make our copper coils, which again is another one of the prerequisites here for research. So we're going to make a few more extra plates as we're going through as well. Now let's take up the steel plates we've already made here and combine that with our blast bricks. We don't need 36, we just need 27 of these. So be very careful and only make up 27 and not screw this up too badly. There we go, great. And then the only thing we're missing now is a funnel. Do I have a funnel laying around somewhere? I don't think so. So we're going to need to make a funnel as well as we're going. So we also need to make the blueprint so that we can make these various ingredients, the dyes that I was referring to. So that just is a steel plate and some paper to make that specialty blueprint. Then I grab that and my engineer's wire cutters and a few more steel plates, and I can make whatever dye I want for the mold. So 5 plates And I can make a metal press gear. So I'm going to make a gear, just have an extra. And oh, I should make a few more iron plates, excuse me, steel plates, so that I can make the wire one as well. There we go. And the wire mold. There, that's what we want. So with those, I can make more metal presses to automate the creation of wire and gears. Now we're gonna need a little bit more storage here too. I need to start cleaning out my inventory. This is getting to be a total mess, but first things first, let's go ahead and set down our blast furnace. We're gonna use the capsule that we got to automate that. And I just wanna come over about 3 blocks from where I have my existing furnace set up. And not too close to that conveyor belt either. Yeah, 3 blocks, is that right? Yeah, that's where I want it. Okay, so we're gonna place this down with the capsule and it's gonna auto build that for us. Now all that we have to do is grab our engineer's hammer and whack it real good, and it automatically turns into the improved blast furnace. So there we have it. We're gonna load up some coal in there and our iron, and that should cook down into steel. And I believe this is supposed to be faster than the regular blast furnace, if I remember correctly. I don't remember how much faster. To automate this a little bit, let's just put some chests on there so that the slag that's the leftover will get stuck out the back and the steel will go in the front. Now, I do want to get to the fastest steel, the next unlock, but we don't have the red research for that. That's going to give us the improved heaters that go on the side of that blast furnace. Let's see what else we can do here, though. I think we can go ahead and do the electric researcher. I think we have enough steel now laying around that we can build a couple of these. We just need some modularium, I think, for these machine casings. Is that right? Yeah, modularium. And that is just iron and redstone. Okay, that's simple enough. We can do all of that. So let's grab up basically a stack of redstone, a stack of iron. No, we don't need 2 stacks. We just need the 1 stack. And drop that into our alloy kiln so it can start making modularium for us. So there are our machine casings. We use that to make our capsule base. Great. And then we just need to make up some steel fences, and for that we need some steel rods. So if we just take our steel ingots, we can make a bunch of rods with that, like so. And then we make up some fences real quick. That should be easy. Just like the normal fence recipe, only with steel. And then we just need to make our sheet metal into these blocks. So basically the steel plates into sheet metal. And that should be, I think, all we need here to make a researcher. Great. So now we have an electric researcher. We don't just have to rely on our burner anymore. So I'm going to put that over here right next to the old researcher. I think we've got enough room that we can put a couple of these down eventually once I start clearing some stuff out. Just need to line this up. How do I rotate this again? I keep forgetting. Oh yeah, click there. That allows me to rotate. But I want to keep the inputs on the same side. I think that's, yeah, that looks right. Yeah, that's how I want it. So let's put that down here. And there is our researcher. So it works just like the burner researchers we had before. We've got a couple of inputs on the back and an output on the front. And on top, we have our energy connection. So basically you can wire it up from the top location. And I went ahead and made a second one of these. I have plenty of extra resources left. So we're just gonna make 2 and replace my old burner researcher with the electric researcher. So now I've got 2 of those. So one of these I'll use to make green research, and the other one I'm going to use to make red research. So we do need to wire this up. So we're going to go ahead and grab another one of our wooden posts, and we're just going to use our wire connectors again from Immersive, just like before. So we need a relay on top of that post first of all. So let's nerd pull up to the top of this and put down our wire relay right on top. just like that. And then we grab our insulated cable, and we're just going to run that to the other post that we had already put down. So all the way back over here. Great. Now we just have to connect these up with the attachment points right on top. So we're going to grab our connectors, one there and one there, and then use our cable to our relays. Perfect. So those should now, yes, those should be getting power and storing it up for our researching purposes. So now we just need to start dropping in ingredients for this to make green research. So that should be easy enough. And it looks like these have a third input on the back, tiny and then a small, I guess. So that's useful. So we can introduce a third ingredient if we need. Now to get our items out, we're just going to go ahead and use the extracting conveyor belts that we had unlocked. That's going to make it really, really easy for us to pull the research back out once it's done cooking down. And that means we're not going to be stuck with just having only 64 in there before we need to clear it out. We can just do that automatically. For automating the inputs though, instead of going ahead and doing a fancy setup, I think I'm just going to use hoppers for it. I don't think I really need to do more than that many stacks at a time. Now, what goes into the red research again? I thought I knew. Right, copper coil blocks and steel gears. So yeah, we are going to need a lot of steel to make those. And we also are going to have to automate that if at all possible. So we need at least one metal press for doing the gears. And ideally, we're going to do one metal press also for the wire that we are then going to use to make the copper coils. But for right now, yeah, let's just set up a bit of automation for more green research. We're just going to drop in a stack of conveyor belts in this one and iron plates in the other. Those are the basic ingredients for green research. Can we go and do 2 stacks? Let's do 2 stacks. Okay. And yeah, there we go. That's already starting to make green research for us, which we're going to use to unlock a whole bunch of other stuff. What I really want to do is get those other machine presses set up. So let's go ahead and see, what do we need for this? A piston, steel scaffolding, redstone engineering block, and a heavy engineering block. All that's easy enough. We just made our redstone engineering block. So I guess the next thing we need to do is make our piston. Good. And then what else do we need? Wait, didn't want to do that. Nope, that's not right. Oh, that's all we need. I guess we have all of the other ingredients. So let's go ahead and put this down right next to it, right here next to the first one. Is that the right rotation? Yeah, that's the right rotation. It's coming out towards us. And then once again, we whack it with a hammer. Perfect. And then it transforms from the multi-block bits into the actual metal press that we want. So we're going to need to wire this one up as well. I think we need more connectors. I think we're about out. So let's go ahead and make some more connectors here. And what else do we need? I think I might need a chest. And some hoppers. Yeah, we're definitely going to need some hoppers as well to be routing things around. Let's make 2 more of those real quick. And we're going to add that to our conveyor belt to make extracting conveyor belts so we can continue to pull items out and automate up this process. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and make a couple of more hoppers while I'm at it. I think we're definitely going to use them here because we're going to automate the inputs and outputs here. So let's go ahead and make a few more. All right. So we're going to put down another chest here to catch the outputs coming out of this. But for the inputs, I don't want to use another of the same type of chest because these will merge into one, and I need to not combine them, excuse me, so that I can control and make sure that I'm only making copper of this thing and only steel of that thing or whatever I need. So I want to be very careful here about which ingredients are being used. So to that end, I need to make chests that are not going to connect. So I think maybe gold chests, can I make those? Or at least a copper chest I know I can make because this does have the mod for copper chests. So let's go ahead and make at least one of those, maybe two, and put those down. And copper chests are not going to connect to regular chests either, so we can actually intersperse those if we need as well. All right, so all the metal press is now missing. I think here is the die. So we're gonna have to add this gear die in there, or mold, I guess as they call it, but technically it's a machine die, I believe. So put that on there, put our connector on top, and then our wire cables. So that should be getting electricity. Yeah, there we go, electricity, perfect. So I think we're good on the number of connections we have there. I don't think that's gonna be a problem. So what do we want to make first? I think we want to make those steel gears. Nope, that's not, nope, standing too close. That's a problem. We're making steel gears. So it's going to take 2 ingots to make a single steel gear. And that's basically half as much as if you were making them by hand. So that's a much more efficient process. Now, I'm also using our auto workbenches to craft up some of these things. I'd previously been using one of them to make copper gears, but we don't need to do that anymore. So instead, since we're pressing our copper gears, I think we want to use one of these auto workbenches to make our copper coil blocks. Now, to do that, we need to make copper coils, and copper coils, of course, are made from copper wire. So I think we can put down another metal press right next to that and use that one just for making our wire. I think that's what we want to do here. Okay, so let's go ahead and make up a few more ingredients here. We're gonna make some steel plates so that we can make more sheet metal and things like that. So let's go ahead and get that done. Oh, and it looks like we have a whole bunch of steel gears already as well. So we need to make another heavy engineering block, and that uses pistons as well as the components, which those steel components also need steel plates. So let's grab a few more of those. And those also use copper. So let's grab some copper, and we can make these right here in our engineer's workbench. Let's just drop these in. So that is the right blueprint. So we put our copper and our steel, and there we go. We get a bunch of mechanical components back out. And again, that recipe is also cheaper when you do it that way, rather than doing it by hand. Okay, I think that's everything that we now need to make our press. Oh, except for we need a bit more scaffolding, that's right. Okay, is that all of it? What else am I missing here? Oh, a piston, right. We need one more piston because we used the other one to make the heavy engineering block. There we go. So let's just set this down here. Oh, and yeah, that's backwards. Nope, that's not the way we want it. Oh, and we can't pick it up automatically? All right, well, let's just break this and we're gonna put it right back down, facing the right direction this time. I wish the preview showed which direction it was facing, but it does not. So we just kind of have to guess. How about that? No, that's still backwards. Oh, but we can pick it back up. There we go. Okay, perfect. Now we just whack that with a hammer and connect it back up on top. Where'd that connector go? There we go. Just like that. We run our wire to it, and I do want to grab up that last piece of wire that's floating there in a moment. And we need one more copper chest for our output. We'll put that down right there. And I think that's everything that we'll need. Oh, except for the wire press, right? We need to stick our wire press on it, and there we go. Now we can make wire automatically. Let's grab a stack or two of copper, maybe more than that. And we'll go ahead and start feeding this in here. We're gonna use a whole lot of copper wire very quickly. So we're just gonna run that through our press. Great. Now we do want to continue automating this auto workbench. I think doing everything together, whoop, fell off, so that the auto workbench is creating from the simple ingredients through 2 stages to our copper wire blocks is the way to do this. So let's grab some sticks real quick here. I think that's what we need, sticks, is that right? Yeah, we need sticks. So let's grab a bunch of sticks, and we're going to use those along with our copper wire. I think we need a lot of sticks. That might be too many sticks, actually. So we're going to combine that with our copper wire to make copper coils. So in this top workbench, we take our copper wire and use this recipe. Yeah, that's the recipe. Ooh, treated sticks give us even more, but we don't have enough treated planks and we're not automating that yet. So we're going to do regular sticks for now. So we do sticks there, and then we do copper wire around it, like so. Oh, and I guess these have to go in particular slots, don't they? That's fine. So that will make us a whole bunch of copper wire. And then our copper wire, we wrap around a steel ingot, and that'll make our copper coil blocks. And those will get deposited into the bottom basic drawer here. And this is all basically automated, although we don't have our secondary ingredients going in. So we will have to restock this every once in a while from our stores. So let's just grab up all the copper wire we have so far. We're just going to load it in here and let it do its thing. Now, we've already got a bunch of copper wire coils through the magic of editing, and we can just dump those straight into our second researcher. So let's put those in here along with the steel gears that we had already started making. And yes, that is the right recipe. This will slowly start making us our red research. And there's one already, and that unlocks our first quest to get red research. Ooh, and it gives us a bunch more red research off of that. And it looks like we can also knock off this task, more flavor text, talking about hoarding the research. Apparently this is a nod that we should continue to make a lot more research and use that to unlock some of our upgrades. Oh, what's that noise? I don't know what that was. Okay, whatever that was. So this is getting us started along the path to aluminum. And before I get to aluminum, I actually need fluxed electrum. But ironically, we can't make fluxed electrum until we make aluminum, or at least unlock aluminum. So we have some circular logic to sort through. Now, while we are getting ready to do all of that, I am going to unlock solar, at least the first tiers of it that I can do. I think the next tier I need red research to do. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. So we're going to make solar panels. If you all have been watching my other videos, you know how obsessed I am with solar panels and using them to make power. I love renewable energy. In Satisfactory, I always play with the refined power mod because of the solar panels it unlocks. Now, solar panels in this are a little fidgety in this particular mod pack. So we need copper solenoids, we need servos, and we need mirrors. I think mirrors are actually the biggest bottleneck for us right now because we don't have a reliable source of glass yet. Back to power. First of all, our LV capacitor bank. Submit all of this. Oh, that's an 8 logistics pack. That's not a regular logistics pack. I hope we can still do that. How about this one? Can I do this one? Yeah, I can do that one. But this we need 16 times 8. And I don't know if we can do that. Let's see here. Use this. Is that enough? Let's see here. Yeah, it is. Just exactly enough, which means somehow the math worked in our favor. Okay, so let's take a look at these new recipes. So solar panel Mark III needs a photovoltaic cell 1, which we need diamonds for. Okay, that's not the worst thing in the world though. We need a machine frame. All of this is doable. This is very expensive, but we can definitely do this. And then we need a whole bunch of solar panel 2s as well, which are made with solar panel 1s. Okay, so this is expensive, but it's not a deal breaker. Now, what about that capacitor that we just saw, the LV capacitor bank? Okay. Oh, this is easy. So we just need a standard LV capacitor and a whole bunch of wire coils. All right, so we can make all of this. This is easy. Now, first things first, let's go make a whole bunch more of our cables, our wires. Let's see here. I think this is the right one we determined. Yes. And we're just going to give it 3 here, just like that. Great. Now, while that's chomping down, let's see about our solar panel construction. I think we should have, oh yeah, a whole lot of glass now. And in here we should have even more. Let's just grab up a bunch more iron. And we're going to drop off our wood because we have way too much wood now. There we go. Okay. So, first things first, let's add this capacitor bank to our shopping list. And then for solar, I guess we should add all 3 of these. Solar panel 1. Okay, so mirrors. Mirrors look real easy. Let's do 64 of those. Okay. And now the next thing we're going to need here is copper solenoids. So it looks like we can do a whole lot of those. Let's grab some more copper while we're at it. Good. Okay, so where did those go? We have 32 of those. Now, what else do these need for level 1? Copper coil blocks, that we're going to need our wire, and copper servos. So I don't want to do all of these, but I'll do 32 of these. Just because we're still short on redstone last I checked. Actually, let's check again. How are we doing on redstone? Yeah, see, that's hardly any redstone. That is a paltry sum. We get more than that just by mining. Okay, so all we need is those copper wires for our copper blocks. Actually, we already have the coil blocks here from this manufacturer, so why don't we just drop these in there and let it do its thing? Do you have enough iron? Let's give you more iron. Do you have enough sticks? You have enough sticks. Okay. So we'll just let that keep cooking, and for right now we've got 22. That's great. Okay, so we can make 48 to start. I think that's a good starting point. Okay, so on to solar panel Mark II. Now for this we're going to need blocks of redstone, and again we are severely limited on redstone. Let's go ahead and get a bunch out of here. I do not want to run out of redstone halfway through this. That would be very frustrating. Okay, so let's make a bunch of redstone engineering blocks here. Let's do 16 of those, right? And then let's also do more blocks of redstone. So I'm just going to do 16 blocks of redstone, like so. And we'll store the rest of that. Okay, so solar panel Mark II, 16. Okay. And I think we can make more than that. We just need more mirrors, right? So let me grab up more iron. Oh, we're running out of iron? We might run out of iron too. I thought I'd cooked up enough, but now that we're trying to do things in bulk, that's somewhat problematic. All right, so let's do 18. Great. All right, so solar panel Mark II, now where are we at? So photovoltaic cells, we need diamonds and mirrors. So that's 18 diamonds, right? No, it's 6 times 3. Yeah, that's 18. Oh, but that's for 1. So that's a lot more diamonds than that. How many do we have? Oh, 43. That is hardly enough. That is hardly enough. Okay. Well, let's see how many we can make here. You know, it occurs to me that because of the difference in these, the generation difference, these are only generating 4 times as much per tick. So solar panel 3s are awfully expensive for basically what is just 4 regular solar panels here from the solar panel Mark II. So honestly, it might make sense to just stick with the Mark II panels for a little while here, even though we would rather be using solar panel 3s. I'm going to go ahead and try and make a couple here just for space conservation, but until we have a reliable source of diamonds, just doing a massive field of solar panel 2s might be more cost effective for us in the long run. So there's 8 solar panels, and we should have... Nope, is that it? Is that all we can afford? Just 8? All right, well, we're just going to take our 8. And I guess lick our wounds and head home for the rest of these. Let me just dump out everything that we've got left in our inventory for now. And let's see if we can figure out how to connect these up. So our capacitor is over here. Oh, you know what we should do? We should make that capacitor bank while we're at it, because that's going to store more energy. So let's see here. What do we need for the capacitor? Nothing too complicated. Do I have any LV wire left? Not really enough, because this has been cooking these up really quick, hasn't it? Yeah, so maybe just make one more stack of those just for our own purposes, which means I need to make more copper, I guess. Yeah, okay. So let's go ahead and make some wires. And we're going to use our treated wood planks this time, because I just made a bunch of planks. And if we use treated sticks instead, this becomes a much more efficient recipe. So I'm going to take 16 of those. And now if I take my copper wire, is that not the recipe? Is that the recipe? Yeah, so I get way more out of that. That's way better. Okay. So now we have 32 LV cables. And what else do we need for the capacitor bank? A couple of wire connectors. Let's do 8 of those. And then we're going to need some of these copper coils. So let's make one more. Good. And now let's make our capacitor banks. All right, 4 capacitor banks. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to try and do this as intelligently as possible. I'm going to snip these, and that's going to disconnect the power to everything. And then I'm going to take my capacitor bank and start putting this down. And I think this said as long as I connect them up like this, yeah, it becomes a single unit. So this we're going to power from over here. And do I need to hit this to make it an input or anything? Do I do like this? No, it doesn't care. Doesn't care. All right. Now we need our insulated wire coils, like so. And then we'll output from this side still. So let's put one here, and we'll connect this here. So that should be there, storing energy and putting it into our system. Okay, so I have my solar panels, and the one thing I don't know is whether or not these can be connected and output from a single spot. So I'm gonna have to try this out a little bit and see what works here. Because if I do need a connector per solar panel, then that's kind of a damper on things, because all of a sudden I'm going to need to have a whole bunch of connectors. That's a lot more than I had planned to make. And we might have to then instead unlock the next tier of cables instead. Whoops, and I'm gonna fall off it. All right. So these are solar panels Mark III. And right now I'm getting IO is 41 in. Okay. So if I'm getting 41 in here, and I put a connector on this, and these do 16 each, I should know really quickly if I'm getting a lot more or not a lot more. 41, and that lets 90 in. Okay. So that seems to be a lot of power. Oh, and now we're at 0 in. Oh, is it because I'm maxed out? Oh, it is. So I think we're actually pretty good there. I'm going to go ahead and put the Mark II panels up as well. And I assume those are going to need a separate connector. That just wouldn't make sense that these all would be one bank. Right? 100 IF. Yeah, so actually we're hitting the limit for this connector. That's the problem. For now, we'll just connect this up with a low voltage. So this is already maxed out. Our capacitor is already topped up. So that's a very good sign. And it looks like all of this is coming together. Okay, so we have our solar panels set up and our power storage set up. So I think that is a pretty good stopping point. This is a wonderful jumping off point now that we have all of our red research available to us, and we can start digging in on some of these more advanced pieces. So that's a lot of progress, I'd say. We're getting pretty far already in this mod pack. But for now, I think that's a great place to end this episode. So thanks again for watching Enterprise Architecture, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye, friends.